Hey, horror fans, thanks for joining me for this review of Dexter New Blood. Cast and crew information down below, and let's start off with this IMDb plot real quick. Set 10 years after Dexter Morgan went missing in the eye of Hurricane Laura, he is now living under an assumed name in upstate New York, Iron Lake, far from his original home in Miami. Yes, from the sun to the snow. Big change for Dexter. Um, Glad to be back with you guys talking about one of my favorite series that have been on TV slash cable. This one is definitely one of my favorites. I also really enjoyed True Blood, kind of going back in time a little bit. Um, don't believe I reviewed Dexter any of the seasons. At least I don't remember if I did or not. I guess it's been a while. Maybe I should have looked before doing this, but I don't remember. I know definitely no video reviews. So if you're gonna go back and search for any, there are none. But definitely, such just a great character alone. Being a serial killer gets kind of flipped around and doing good by killing people who are supposedly bad or finding reasons to kill people that were bad. You know, maybe, a few times he kind of bent that a little bit to his favor in killing some people that maybe really didn't deserve it, but, to kind of cover up his own ass there. But anyway, let's see. To start, um, I'm gonna mention, real quick a little bit about how the original series ended. So if you never saw that, consider this a spoiler alert. I am going to mention that to kind of start off, or where I'm going to start. And I'm going to try to keep this pretty spoiler free as far as New Blood is concerned. Just kind of set, kind of what's going on and talk about some of the things I liked about it and try to leave, some of the better parts out. And but I hate to do this to you guys that are maybe haven't seen it or don't want to be spoiled by things. I will come a point where I will alert you again, spoiler alert, because I do have to talk about the end of this one as well. As much as I would like to hide it and let you guys have a completely spoiler free review here, I can't leave it. I can't not mention what happens at the end. So if you want to stick around and listen to what I have to say for a little bit about the season, please feel free to. And I will spoiler alert you before I talk about the end and how this season ends, and a little bit about my thoughts about that and where Dexter series goes after this. Um, so that's kind of let you guys know ahead of time. But if you want to jump off now, I wouldn't blame you. But again, keep it spoiler free mostly until that part. But I am going to spoil the end of the first series, so here's your chance for that as well. Dexter, when it was coming to a conclusion there, it seemed like maybe it was time for Dexter to end. Maybe the series had kind of run its course and he was maybe struggling a little bit with finding the right serial killer bad guy for him to kind of go against. The Trinity Killer was definitely one of the tops, if not the top. And a lot of people I think thought he was one of the best for Dexter, and that was definitely hard to kind of get over. But as far as him, kind of just disappearing into the hurricane there, seemed a little bit of a stretch, and then him ending up there in the snow. Uh, a lot of people were like, yeah, I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly back then, kind of what people really wanted to happen if they wanted him to be caught. Obviously, with what happens with his sister, a lot of people were disappointed in that. But you almost kind of knew that if she wasn't ultimately going to be the one to turn him in, then that was probably going to be her fate. And as good of a cop as he was, it was kind of, in a Dexter Morgan kind of way, fucked up that she didn't figure it out sooner. Um, a little nod to her there. But yeah, I don't really know what people really wanted and needed, the series to end. Um, you know, Now that we see that he's back, you kind of see why they didn't just kill him off, and that's kind of why I kind of was expecting there that okay, we're just gonna send him off, whatever, and maybe one day he can come back, and he did. And that's where we are now. So, and I guess in a way it's a good thing they didn't kill him off because then we wouldn't have Dexter. And I don't really know that there would have been room for a prequel. I mean, I guess you could have by stretch. Um, but I guess Michael Hall, what's his name? Um, Michael C. Hall, he's not gonna get any younger, so it would have been harder to kind of go back to maybe his younger days there. Um, anyway, it is what it is. But it's a good thing they didn't, like I said, they didn't kill him off because now we got 10 more episodes of Dexter here. So this Dexter going forward, we find him. He's in New York. He's kind of a different person. He's trying to get along. He's in a new society, a smaller town. How he got away with Miami, I don't know it. I'm in Miami. I live in Miami. It's a big town. I guess, he kind of disappeared there in the police force. It was always fun watching the show, I'll tell you that. I'll tell you a little bit about how they shot the show is that a lot of times they would say, hey, I'm going here or there, and then they would show, where they're driving. And let me tell you that they were not driving to whatever location they were saying. There were some true locations that they were going to, but the roads that they were filming and whatever were not the roads that you go on to go to some of these places. So that's a little, I guess, behind the scenes of the earlier Dexter, and I'd let you guys know that some of those places were so-called Miami, or some of the times I guess he went down to the Keys as well, or the Everglades. Some of the ways to get there weren't necessarily what they were making them seem that he was going to. But anyway, that's just an aside. Here is in a much smaller location, snowy location, a small town. Everybody kind of knows each other. Everybody kind of knows each other's business. So it's maybe not the ideal place for someone who's doing what Dexter does, but apparently he's since getting there, he's been able to not let his dark passenger out, or he's got it under control, whatever you want to call it. And he's kind of doing fine, but maybe not so much, not so much as they make it seem. I guess 10 years is a lot, and that's pretty good. But if you know from the original series, he used to see his so-called father, and that's who would give him advice, or who would kind of talk to in his head, and then so forth. This time around, it is his sister, which was pretty awesome. It was a great way to kind of have her along here, and on the journey. And if she's a big part of the show, regardless of what you want to say, being his sister, she's always been a central character. They've always spent so much time with her. So it was good that when they brought Dexter back, they were able to find a way to bring Deborah back as well. And Jennifer Carpenter was awesome as her. So just very fitting, and it's good for the fans to see her back and to get glimpses of her. And she had some fine moments there along the way, and of course dropping F-bombs as usual. Probably could have used a few more, but we'll take what we can get. But it was good how they managed to incorporate her into that. Then, so, Dexter's there, everything's fine. Of course, he's talking with her, whatever. And, while he's trying to hold everything together, he's kind of, that eventually, the show's not going to go on without him killing again. So, two things kind of set him off. One is he comes in contact with just basically a rude young kid, and not a kid, just a young, I don't know, I guess, I don't know, he's not even a college kid, probably a little bit older than that, but just a young person who just rubs him the wrong way. And then at the same time, he has a young boy come knocking on his door, and yes, it's Harrison. Harrison is a teenager now, and he's kind of gone through some stuff and growing up obviously without his father there, and some other things have happened. I'll leave that for you guys to see if you haven't seen it. But Harrison knocks at the door, and Dexter at first is like, "No, I'm not Dexter Morgan," but you know that he's there for, they have to be reunited. So long and behold, father and son are reunited. So then it's just a matter of, does Dexter let him know, what he does? What is Harrison? Does Harrison have the dark passenger in him? And, we kind of see things unfold as Dexter's dark passenger kind of returns, and then does Harrison have a dark passenger or not? And you kind of see that kind of playing out. And, as Dexter then ends up killing somebody and having to cover it up, and then that kind of opens some doors to where we're going there. He has to go through a lot of lengths to hide that, as always. Whenever he seems to kill an important person or whatever, he has to go to great lengths to hide that. And again, in a small town, it's hard. And then you have Harrison here, which makes it even harder. And then Dexter's just really not ever sure what to do with them. And, there are points where they try to get along. Sometimes one makes better effort than the other one. But they're really just bumping heads a lot. And, I don't want to go too far into it. Because, again, if I think it's a spoiler. I think you guys should see, if you haven't seen, what happens. See it happen and see it develop. I thought, they went about it in a very good way. And, a very good setup with how they're bumping the heads and how, each of their mind thoughts are and where they are and where they're coming from. And obviously Dexter having his sister to talk to, and his sister is, really pushing him like, don't fuck him up. Don't fuck him up. You're going to fuck him up. Don't do it. Kind of in his ear. And, sometimes Dexter, takes her advice and sometimes he doesn't. And either way, it's just a lot of Dexter really finding the right way to handle Harrison and what Harrison needs and what Harrison's going through, and being a father after all this time. It's crazy. Then there's Clancy Brown, who plays, I guess the villain, the opposite of Dexter here. The main guy that Dexter's going to end up going against here. And Clancy Brown is awesome. He does a fantastic job. He's just so great. He was so great in the Mortuary Collection. And he's so great here. And great in so many things, other roles he's done. But he just plays a fabulous character here. A really bad dude, but a very, guy that's going around town that's very likable. And, it's very hard for Dexter to kind of go against. And let's just say when they get to the point and they show what he's done, he is a bad dude. He really did something really bad and crazy. And it's pretty crazy when they finally reveal what he's done, and you see what he's done. They drop hints about it all along the way, and who he might have killed. And but once you see it towards, I think it's episode 9, I don't think it's the 10th episode. There's 10 episodes. I think it's episode 9 that they finally show it. It's insane, kind of what he's done. And even you get to see, what he does. I think he doesn't really kind of get involved until maybe episode 3 or 4, maybe 4 or 5. You kind of get this hint that there's a killer out there. But you get to see more about what he does, but not really the final ending. And I'm talking about what finally happens to his victims. You kind of see over the course, you see what happens to them and what he does to them, but where they finally ends up, it's kind of crazy. But in a complete great Dexter style. But yeah, Clancy Brown does a great job, and just him kind of going back and forth with Dexter, and I kind of let you know that they are going to bump heads. They are going to kind of find out that each other might be hiding something, and it's not going to be one of those things where Dexter's just kind of completely sneaking up on him and he has no idea. I think early on in the series we kind of saw that where Dexter kind of snuck up on some people and they had no idea what was going on. Here it's kind of one of those cases, kind of like Trinity, where he's got an idea that Dexter might be doing something, and that leads to more of a fair fight, more of a back and forth, which ends up pretty cool. So, I would have to go back and watch the whole Trinity thing again to kind of see the gravity of all that. But I would definitely think in one series, in series of 10 episodes, that Clancy Brown's character is definitely up there as far as Dexter nemesis, and I would have to do a lot of work to go and research them all again and see them all, but I definitely would think that most fans would think that he's up there. I know a lot of fans like Clancy Brown and what he brings to the table, so I think he was never really going to be a failure as whatever opposite of Dexter he was going to do. So I guess he kind of gets the benefit of the doubt to begin with, but I definitely think that overall what he did was pretty cool, and they do have some twists and turns for you. Like I said, between the back and forth between the two characters in store as well. Dexter's a pretty smart guy too, so he's going to win some, but he's going to lose some, and vice versa. So that's a fun part of it too. And I'm not going to get too much more into how that kind of goes. Again, let you guys kind of see how that plays out. Another thing I guess I will mention is Dexter. He has to be involved with the police force, so while he's not working for them, he is sleeping with the chief of police that's in this small town, and that's his girlfriend. And not really a wise idea if you're killing people, or you may revert back to killing people. Not a good idea. So that's kind of at play, and then I guess when Harrison comes, he kind of gets a little bit friendly with her daughter, and there's some other stuff that's at play there. Again, I'm not going to give all the details, let you guys just kind of see that play out. As far as ties to the old series, there's one character that really kind of comes back, or at least they kind of bring that person in play. It's nice to see that person, but I don't think they made the most of it. It kind of ended before that person really got to do anything really significant. There are shots and mentions of other characters, people in the police force that Dexter worked with. I think without mentioning names, there's probably a nod or some characters that they have in the now that might remind you of some of the characters they had in the past. I'm not going to name for name and let you guys kind of piece that together. So that was maybe a gentle, nice nod in certain cases. I think they have a guy that one time that does what Dexter used to do, and Dexter's kind of watching him at work. So that's kind of a funny scene there. So there's some light humor here and there, and but yeah, there's some flashbacks. There's mentions of Dexter's time in his past and so forth. And I'm not going to get too much more into that, because then, we're going to get into trouble here. So, with all that, I'm going to spoiler alert you guys again, and I'm going to talk about the end, because that's really the meat here and what I really, really want to talk about. So, if you have not seen the series at all, this New Blood at all, and you don't want to know how it ends yet, this is your time to kind of stop. Fast forward if you want to wait to my rating, or I don't know what to tell you, but here it comes. So I'll give you another second, and here we come with what happens here in Dexter. So like I mentioned before, Dexter has a lot of back and forth with his son. I think as you see this kind of winding down, and once Dexter has kind of dealt with his serial killer foe, as you see it kind of wind down, that they're almost setting up for one thing and one thing only, is what happens between father and son here. Can they live together, or is Harrison going to have to do something to Dexter? And I think as you see it kind of play out, and you see his Dexter is basically caught. You know that he has no interest and never has had any interest in dying or going to jail, and he's done about everything he can to get away. Um, so you kind of see it kind of play out here as well. He's doing things that he probably shouldn't be doing to get away, and he just kind of instilled the code in Harrison, and then kind of breaks the code, and kind of leaving Harrison with an excuse to do what Harrison does. Um, you know, but is it the right thing? I mean, that's something, obviously the characters have to deal with. From a fan perspective, it sucks ass. Nobody wants to see Dexter die. Nobody wants to see it end. I guess if there was anybody to kill him, obviously his son. It makes sense. I guess from a fan perspective, it sucks ass. Because if Dexter is really dead, that means it's over. No, I'm not going to buy into a Dexter New Blood season 2 where Harrison now picks up the pieces and goes. As fun as it was having Harrison back, seeing him as Dexter's son, and the kid who played him, Jack Alcott, I think. As good of a job as he does, no disrespect to him, I'm just not here to watch him pick up the reins of Dexter. If that does happen, I would admit I will probably be a sucker and watch at least some of it, but I'm not going to be happy about it. I'm not going to watch it and be in a happy way. And I just don't want that. That's not what I want. Just like I don't want these remakes and long-awaited sequels. I don't want a Dexter where Dexter's no longer there and it's his son kind of going about. I mean, knowing TV and knowing cable and whatever, it would not shock me if they did that. But God, do I not want that. I like Dexter. I like Dexter's character, and that's what I want. Even if it were to come back where his son kind of sees Dexter as Dexter, saw his father and saw now Deborah, I guess I could roll with that a little bit, but at the end of the day, that's just going to piss me off. And, then that basically means there's no Deborah because, she's not going to fit into it. This is not going to be one of those things where it's like Star Wars and you're seeing, like, the ghost of the Jedi's past here in the corner. That's just not going to fly with me. I could see it now. It makes for something great to write and great to be. Oh, let's put this on television. Dexter can come back and talk to Harrison as he's navigating his ways about how to kill anybody. But even then, I just don't think that Harrison spent enough time there with Dexter to really gather everything he needed. And you got to remember that's really not. Dexter's talking to Deborah, but that's really himself just talking to himself. So it's not, there's nothing that Harrison could do that he doesn't already know. It's not like Dexter would be dropping him any additional knowledge. Like, I don't think they spent enough time for him to really grasp the Dark Passenger and everything that needed to be done and said and to really carry that forward. So I don't, I'm going to say it's not going to work. Like I said, they could do it. I wouldn't be shocked. But that is not a direction I want to see. What I like to see, it'd be like, okay, that was a dream, or Dexter did something to himself to pretend he was dead and he ends up somewhere else. And maybe him and Harrison had that plan ahead of time. That would be beautiful. Let's do another season and let's roll. And let's do more teachings with Harrison and whatever. That I could buy, that I could deal with, that I can move forward with. That would be fine with me. But anything where Harrison is kind of in charge and it's his show now, long term, I'm just not there. But I think as you kind of saw that season kind of roll down there, I think it was pretty clear where excuse me, where that was headed, and why, that it was going to end in that kind of fashion, and that was definitely disappointing, um, especially when Dexter seemed like he was going to be caught. You knew that he wasn't just excuse me, he wasn't going to go down like that. So yeah, it is a shame. It is sad to see Dexter die. No, I'm not choking up because Dexter's dead. Other reasons going on here, but that's a different story. Um, but it is sad to see Dexter gone, and to kind of see Showtime come out and say that this kind of new blood kind of pushed them over the top and made Dexter their most viewed series, and so forth. Um, you know, I don't know. To me, it just doesn't make sense to bring him back, kill him. I guess it fit all the pieces with it being Harrison, and that's kind of their mind play. But like I said, knowing TV, knowing cable, whatever, blah blah, it just seems like they would want this to continue, and I don't know that killing Dexter is the best thing to long term the whole thing. Uh, I don't know. Sometimes it's about the actors. Did he, like Michael C. Hall, does he only want to come back for 10 episodes, and that's it? That was good for him. Maybe he doesn't want to prolong this and do this anymore. Maybe that was it, and it's like, okay, so let's try to give him or give Dexter the right way out, and that's what they thought was the right way out. Um, I guess if there's never ever a Dexter ever again, and that's it, I guess it is fitting in a way. Um, but I don't know. I didn't like it. I just, it was, like I said, it's a little too predictable as it was kind of winding down there, and I don't know. I just think that it was just too quick. Like Harrison, maybe they needed to move it up. Maybe the timing just didn't seem right. I just didn't think that. It seemed like the reason was there that Dexter had done something outside of the code, and now had put himself in that I'm a bad guy role, and that's kind of what Harrison is there. So the complete reasoning is there, but I just don't think Harrison was. And they play him off as a smart kid. They show you that he's a smart kid. So he's no dummy to it. I just think that it just happens way too fast for him to completely grasp the Dark Passenger and be like, okay, well, Dexter's now crossed the line, so I have to kill him. And, I can't just run away with Dad and figure it out later. I would have rather seen them spend more time together and then at one point go, you know what, maybe Dad isn't right in all this, and maybe Dad is a truly bad guy, and maybe do a little bit more digging up on Dad, and then at some point be like, okay, Dad, now I have to do you like you've done so many others. I just thought it was too soon, but we'll see. We'll see what they do, and I guess if they bring it back, they don't bring it back. If this is truly the end, and what, that might kind of change my mindset. But for now, that's kind of what I'm thinking and where I'm at. So with that, I guess it's time to rate this season. Here on IMDb, it's 8.4 out of 10 with lots and lots and lots of star ratings here. Um, I'm going to give it a 3.5. Pools of Blood, and that is out of 5. Like I said, I liked a lot of things about it. Clancy Brown was great. It's great having Dexter back, and Deborah, and so many things. Um, but, that ending, yeah, that just, and again, is it any better than the ending they had before? And it's hard when shows end. It's hard to find an ending. You're not going to satisfy everybody. You're not going to satisfy all the fans. Do you know whether it's ever going to come back or not? That's something that they only know. I have no idea. I guess those are all kind of things that play into it. Where either of those endings the worst thing they could have happened? No, they could have obviously done much worse. But are they greatly satisfying? Not really either way. Um, so I think I'm content with going 3.5. Um, close to 4. I think if I would have maybe been a little more shocked and didn't kind of see that ending kind of coming, maybe I would have, that would have helped out a little bit. But, you can kind of see the writing on the wall there. Uh, it would have been interesting to see Dexter kill Harrison. I mean, I would have, that would have been crazier to see. Obviously, they would have had to do a lot of going the other direction. But, and I don't think Dexter would have done that at the end of the day. But that would have been something wild and crazy. Anyway, that's probably insane. The fans would never have gone for that. Anyway, yeah, let's go 3.5 pools of blood. But like I said, if Dexter comes back and eats himself, let's do it. If they try to do this Harrison thing off, I'm not all for it. But we'll see. Maybe that's the end of Dexter. It was hard to swallow seeing the end of Dexter before. It's a little hard to swallow the supposedly real end of Dexter now. But, it is what it is. So, with that, wrap this up. HorrorSgoryReviews.blogspot.com is where you can find more of these reviews. Written ones are definitely there. The video ones are there as well. You can always subscribe to the channel if you're just looking for the video reviews. But I do encourage you to swing over there for the written reviews as well. Lots of the newer stuff, especially Shudder stuff, if you're looking for Shudder stuff, I do buy a written review. A lot of older stuff there as well. Twitter, Facebook information down below. You want to reach out, talk about Dexter, talk about other movies, anything horror related. If you have something you want me to review, you can reach out to me there. Definitely Twitter's better than Facebook, but whatever your medium is, go for it. I should sometimes fail to mention, but you can also reach me at Promote Horror. PromoteHorror.com. You can reach out to me there as well if you need support for any of your project as well. Maybe not necessarily a review. But yeah, in the comments section there is a great place to do it as well. We can talk about Dexter there. Hopefully I didn't spoil it. If you didn't quite catch the spoiler alert or went above and beyond to spoil it for you, I apologize. I don't like doing that. But sometimes you just have to talk about, certain things need to be talked about, and this needed to be, in this case. So yeah, that's it for Dexter New Blood, and we'll see, like I said, we'll see if they bring it back or not, or what direction. If not, that's it. It is what it is. So with that, I guess I will catch you on the next review, horror fans.